Curious to hear your thoughts on Brett O'Shea, Rev Left Radio. Rev Left was really important in my initial political education, but it's sad to see him dog on MAGA communism and ignore ACP. Same. I mean, I pretty much echo your thoughts. I pretty much feel the same way. I really liked Rev Left Radio when I was first starting out. Listened to him all the time. I didn't know anything about Marxism. It was great to have a podcast that was actually focused on Marxist theory. I learned a lot from Rev Left Radio. I learned a lot from their Che Guevara episode. That was before I really started reading Che and reading biographies about him by like professional biographers. But it was useful when I was first starting out. It was useful to listen to their episode on Thomas Sankara. Their Ho Chi Minh Vietnam War episode was cool. Some of their Stalin episodes were cool. But yeah, I mean, Brett he's a Maoist, and that comes with some interesting ideas. And he dogs on the ACP and MAGA communism. And it's like he's turned into a theory cell. He's turned into somebody who doesn't try to make a unique analysis of the country that they're living in, but someone who rather, is just obsessed with old books, old theory, and trying to impose like Maoism on America. Like, we can learn from Mao, we can draw things from Mao, but we have very unique conditions that are very much different to 1949 China. So I think his analysis is sort of outdated and dogmatic. What are the social values of ACP? Tolerance. We have tolerance for people's social values. We have tolerance for, people who think differently about these issues, who are on different sides of the culture war. All we really care about is advancing the class struggle and the struggle against imperialism. Oligarchs have always acquired their wealth by stealing it from the working class. Yes, that is how capitalism and feudalism and so-called primitive accumulation works. So glad you still did the show, Eddie. Thank you. Thanks for coming, Logan. Will BRICS have the balls to create its own currency? I don't know. Probably not. China might push that, but remains to be seen. I don't know what their long-term strategy is in terms of currency. Besides, getting off the gold standard. Bernie Sanders is a comprador fake socialist. Yes, his role is to co-opt radical anti-establishment energy and filter it right back into the Democratic Party. It didn't begin that way. Bernie started as a real legit anti-establishment politician running as an independent, not as a Democrat. But he's been a part of the Democratic Party for about 30 years now, and you can't spend that long in the Democratic Party without them sinking their hooks into you, sinking their claws into you. I remember when Carlos and I were working for the Bernie campaign, there was an event called the March Against Corporate Greed. And basically, it's an event where the Democrats get together and the Democrat presidential candidates get together and they all donate money from their campaign, money that either their supporters have given them or, corporations have given them. In Bernie's case, he was only taking small dollar donations from his actual supporters. They take that money and they give it to the Democratic Party. They give it to the establishment, essentially. And it's a big signal of loyalty to the Democratic Party elite, is what this event really is. So at this event, Bernie staged the March Against Corporate Greed, which was great. Instead of just, sucking up to the Democratic Party, we all went and marched against their corruption. But then we all went into a room. We march against corruption. We all have these signs. Corporate greed must end. Billionaires bad, blah, blah, blah. And then we go inside and we're eating dinner together. They have food for us. And we're watching Bernie give a speech at this event. And we're all expecting him, everyone at my table at least, is expecting Bernie to tell the Democratic Party to piss off. We were expecting him to go up there and say, no, my donations, my campaign money comes from the people, comes from the working class. It comes from small dollar donations from my actual supporters, not corporations. So I'm not going to give a dime of this money to the Democratic establishment, to the party elite. But instead of doing that, Bernie goes up on stage, gives a speech talking about how the Democrats are better than Trump and how Republicans bad. and then gives a bunch of money that the people like me making minimum wage had, or maybe a little bit above minimum wage, had given to the campaign because we believed in it, gives like thousands of those dollars to the Democratic Party, to the establishment, and gives this speech basically sucking them off. And let me tell you, that sucked the wind out of the room so fast. That sucked all of the energy and motivation out of the room, because we're like, we thought we were marching against this system. We thought we were marching against the Democratic establishment and the corporate elites. Now you're going up there and literally giving them our money and giving this speech about how great they are. So that's the role that Bernie plays in America today. Filtering radical left-wing energy back towards the Democrats. All right, I'll continue taking questions when I get back from going to the bathroom.